All right, a few things that I want to work on right now have to do with ball control, take on moves, or moves just to maintain possession so that when you're under pressure in a game that you don't cough it up, you can get a pass off, shot off, or just take somebody on the dribble. The important thing about working on these moves is that you work on them so that you're so comfortable they're instinctive. Once these moves become instinctive for you, really try to do them at almost out of control speeds. Speeds so that when you're trying them, you're really pushing your body. You might even lose control of the ball, and while you're practicing, that's perfectly okay. So if you lose control because you're really trying to push your body mechanics and your feet, don't worry about it. If you lose the ball, just get to it and keep going. So again, the thing that I want to encourage right now is to work for speed once you have these moves instinctively. Obviously, you need to work on your right foot and your left foot equally. Make sure that you're working both of those into the picture. Then, once you've worked on and mastered some moves, try to link a few together. So for example, if a thing like a step over, if you can do a step over, cut the ball, maybe right off the bat after you do that, you can try to pull a Matthews. So try to start linking these moves together. All right, when you're working on these moves, instead of just dribbling all over the grass or the territory that you have, you actually can work in a very small space and master these moves in an area that's no bigger than 5 by 5 yards. One of the things that I recommend is that if you are on a lined field, you can just keep zigzagging back and forth. Whatever the move is, go over the line, do a move, go right back in the other direction. That way you'll be making sure that you're working on both feet. First one that we're going to work on is something called a Cruyff. Now, Cruyff is a great move to use on the flanks of the field. Let's say you're dribbling down, attacking the goal, and you're in trouble. Defender's putting very heavy pressure on you. You would fake like you're going to cross the ball. You step, pointing towards where you're faking the ball, where you would want the ball to go. You sweep your leg around and shove the ball under the body. A little faster, this is basically going to be, again, right along the flank. Take a little peek. All right, make sure that your defender thinks that you're going to cross the ball, step, and cut the ball back. If you're doing this in the 5-yard increments, you could go over the line, do a Cruyff, come right back, go to the next line, and make sure that you're working both feet into the picture. So something like this, do the Cruyff, pop it, go in the other direction, and then once you get technical enough that this is instinctive, go as fast as you can. The next one that we're going to use is the step over, and there are a ton of different opportunities to do this in a game. If your back is to the goal that you're trying to score on and you're pretty close to your goalkeeper and there's very heavy pressure on you, you could fake like you're going back to your goalkeeper and cut the ball in the other direction to get by that pressure. You could also do a step over as a take-on move. If you're dribbling towards somebody, you could step over the ball, knock it in the other direction. All right, you could use this on the flanks of the field when you're under a lot of pressure in a game and just trying to maintain possession so you can knock the ball elsewhere. So this one is a step over. I'll demonstrate how you do it. Basically what you do is step almost past the ball. You're going to throw your body over the ball. Make sure that foot lands on the ground. So you're going to throw your body over the ball. Critical is that to all the moves is that you get low. Same with the step over. Get nice and low. Once you do that, you're basically just going to push the ball back to where it came from. Working both feet back and forth. All right, in the case of the lefties, again, throwing my body over the ball and cutting it back again. That foot really needs to land on the ground. Some people like to do a step over where they use the other foot to drag it back. That doesn't matter as long as you get low because you're trying to explode in the other direction. Okay, the next one is called pulling the V. Very simple, very subtle move. You're basically just going to fake like you're giving the ball a little kick. You're going to roll on it, hop, and push it about 90 degrees in another direction. Some people call this move the Puskas. All right. Basically, again, little fake kick, hop, push it about 90 degrees in the other direction. Left foot, get a little hop, push it 90 degrees in the other direction. All you're trying to do is just unsteady your defender with a just nice little fake move, and push it. One of the things that you should do when you're practicing the V is just keep changing direction. One direction, push, push, all right? And keep going back and forth to work on that V so you get in a really nice rhythm. So again, so it's instinctive. Next one I want to work on is the L. The L, it's going to start off similar to the Puskas or pulling the V. You're basically going to put your foot on the ball, pull it behind your body, and make that 90-degree angle shape. This is great to work on with both feet because you just go right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Push that right under your body and just get a nice rhythm. This is outstanding for ball control, and as you can see, I could just be working in a basement or a little patch of grass or a little patio to master this move. One variation of the V is something that some people call the messy V. Basically, this is just going to get you out of trouble. All right, you're still going to pull that ball back, but this time you're still going to be making a V shape with the ball, but instead of pulling it in and going to that, let's say the right side, I'm going to pull it in across my body, hop in the air and push it. So it's still basically making a V shape, and it's critical that you pull the ball into you to get it out of trouble rather than just trying to tackle heavy all the time. You're going to pull the ball in and push it with your other foot. So I'm basically at one point, I'm actually in the air as I'm doing this move. Pulling it back, I hop in the air and get it out of trouble. Again, head up so you can have nice vision of the field. As we would do in all these moves, you want to constantly be ready to scan the field. When you're actually doing the move, it's perfectly all right to look at the ball or just above the ball. So that's the messy V. Probably more than almost any move in a game, when you're trying to take on a defender, is something just called the sidestep. Very simple. You're just trying to shake up your defender just a little bit to get a little crack of daylight to pass that defender, get on for a shot, pass, whatever. All right? All the sidestep is as you're dribbling forward, you're lunging in one direction, and you're just going to push it in the other. Nothing fancy. That's why you really have to get low so you can explode so that it looks like you're taking off in one direction, you want to go the other. So basically just fake and then push in the other direction. Fake and cut. Obviously no different with the lefty. Coming forward, fake, getting low so you can really explode in the other direction. It's one of the reasons why Cristiano Ronaldo is so outstanding, is because basically when he does a move, it's his explosion, obviously also his deception, but it's the explosion that really helps him get by defenders. The next one's very subtle. It's basically a fake kick cut, and all you're going to do is just fake like you're kicking the ball, and you're just going to cut it across your body. Somebody like Messi does this so well because when he goes to fake kick the ball, he cuts the ball almost backwards so that a reaching defender is going to have to reach even further and probably be off balance, and he just winds up cutting the ball right by him. So you just want to fake kick, cut the ball right back into you, and go elsewhere. All right? All it seems like you're doing is just pushing the ball, but you really want to throw a little fake kick in there so it's a little bit deceptive. It helps to look on the field so that it's convincing. Fake kick, cut it right back, and go somewhere else. The next one's called the Matthews. Now the Matthews is extremely effective because defenders, good defenders, like to hawk the ball and stare at the ball. With the Matthews, you're going to take a little touch on the ball, so automatically a good defender staring at that ball is going to be thinking that you're going in one direction, and you're immediately going to cut it back with the same foot on a hop in the other direction. So in this case, I want to push the ball. The defender is going to go with it. I still have to get low, and then I push the ball in the other direction. So push, hop in the air, and push it in the other direction. Extremely deceptive because, again, outstanding defenders know that they must hawk that ball. They must stare at that ball with the left foot. So with the left foot, on the hop, push it, and go. You could do this Matthews at extremely high speed, and it's even more effective. The next one that I'm going to do is the scissor. All right, the scissor is great to practice even if you don't use it in a game, because the scissor helps you get on balance for other moves that you might try. For example, as you're approaching the ball, if the ball's right at your feet, you're going to step around from the inside of the ball, getting extremely wide and low. Not too wide where you're not on balance anymore, but wide enough that you could load your leg up with good strength and good power, use the outside of your other foot to go in the other direction. So in the case of a scissor, around the ball and push. Just going with the lefties. Again, setting up, you're going from the inside of the ball to the outside, getting low, pushing in the other direction. Scissor, wide, and cutting the other side, cutting the other direction. One of the wrinkles that you can add to the scissor is just roll the ball forward just a little bit while your foot is still in the air, scissor around the ball, and then perform your scissor. So for example, a little roll, scissor, and push it in the other direction. Little roll, scissor, go in the other direction. You could also try a scissor meg, which is basically once you scissor, if the defender's legs pop open, push it right through their legs and go around. Okay, the next one's called the double touch. The double touch works extremely well dribbling across the face of a goal, parallel to the end line, or wide on the flanks of the field. So let's say I'm wide on the flanks, and this is, let's say, the sideline. I'm going down the side of the field. I have a defender pressuring. I stop the ball and I swivel my hips into the field, and all I do is I just keep the ball going in that same direction. So again, with the double touch, if this is the sideline of the field and you're getting heavy pressure from a defender coming at you, stop the ball, try not to let it roll forward, and then keep the ball going. Swivel your hips and keep that ball moving. Across the face of the goal, let's say this is the 18, the double touch also works very well. You could have a defender putting pressure on you, going across, swivel, cut it. You'll get a little crack of daylight to maybe get a shot off or a pass to a teammate, or enough room to cut in and dribble. One of the variations of the step over that we did earlier is something called either the brekkie or the slap step over or drag to step over. Basically, I'm going to roll the ball forward a little bit on an angle, do my step over, let the ball go right underneath my body, drag it up and across, step over it, and take off. So we're going to drag the ball forward, step over, and take off. One of the moves that we're going to work on is the Maradona, also known as the Zidane. You could do this in many areas of the field, although I don't recommend you do it right in front of your own goal. But in many situations, you could be being pressured right in front of you or slightly to the side. You want to make sure that you use your opponent's body to that player's disadvantage. So for example, if the player's coming in, you pull the ball into you and spin away from them, using your body and theirs to protect that ball and keep it in your comfort zone. So a player could be right in front of you or coming from this angle. All right, I'm going to pull the ball into my body and get ready to spin to shield the ball. Use a little bit of your arms to keep balance and fight off the defender. Pull the ball in, pull it, and keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the ball in and spin and use our body to fight off the defender. Even if you never do a Maradona in a game, it's good to practice because it gets you more comfortable with the ball. The next move is something called either the Cruyff chop or the Ronaldo. Basically, on the dribble, you're going to push the ball under your body and then take off in another direction to beat the defender. So in this case, it's similar to a Cruyff because we're going to step past it, and then we're just going to push it under our body. This is more like a move that you're going to do on a high-speed dribble. So I'm going to push the ball forward, again on a high-speed dribble, let's say. I step a little bit past it, and I just shove it under my body on an angle so I can get some open space. Not going to do a whole sequence on passing, but at least at the youth stages, one of the things that we want to make sure is that we have proper technique when we're passing. Again, scanning the field regularly. When we go to pass, we step relatively even with the ball. We point our toe at the target, but the kicking leg has to go straight back and then straight forward. So if I'm kicking the ball towards the camera, all right, I'm going to put my foot right here, pretty even with the ball. It doesn't have to be too close to it, but even with the ball. Leg goes straight back, leg goes straight forward, and the ball will go straight forward. A couple things about heading the ball. At the youth levels, you might not even want your players heading the ball unless the ball is bouncing very slowly. And the players can get up and get a nice head on it. If the ball is screaming at them, I would recommend that they just let that ball go. But a few things about general technique. We want to make sure that the players have their arms out. They're in a staggered stance, one foot in front of the other. And right before that ball approaches, they have to bend their back, get their head back, and then put their head right forward, staring at the ball, making sure their chin does not drop, because if it drops, they'll get hit in the top of the head. We want to make sure that they stare at the ball the whole time. Arms are out, bending the back right before the ball arrives, and driving that ball right with the center of the head to prevent injury and also to get power on the ball. Okay, what I want to do real quickly is just walk through a few things regarding shooting for power. I recommend that you go very close to a goal. There's no reason to go really far out yet. Just use the goal as a backstop. Have a whole bunch of balls, make life easy for yourself. Some of the important things. Make sure that you strike the ball at the equator. Don't strike too low. If anything, if you're going to make any mistakes, strike a little bit higher to make sure you don't make a mistake in a game. The other thing is make sure that you hit the ball with your laces or with this hard bone in your foot. Try not to obviously hit it with your toe. When you're stepping towards the ball, try to step even with the ball, and if the ball's moving fast, try to almost step a little bit ahead of it. You don't want to step back here, or else the ball is going to go over the crossbar. You want to step even with it. You don't have to step right next to the ball. You could actually step a little bit to the side, but you must step even with the ball. So again, if it's rolling fast, you might have to step a little bit in front so you are even by the time the ball gets up there. One of the important things to get power is to make sure that your kicking leg almost kicks you in the backside. You want to get, that's where you're going to get a lot of the power of your shot. If you barely come back with your leg, you're not going to get a lot of power on your shot. So again, make sure that you hit the ball with that hard bone in your foot. In order to make sure that you're doing that, you want to land on that foot. It's called a locked ankle, and you want to land on that kicking foot. You do not want to let this foot stay planted on the ground when you strike the ball. You want to get off of that foot after you hit and land on that kicking foot, or landing on your kicker, all right? So again, get that leg back as far as you can. You can use your arms for balance. Don't worry about what you look like. Use your arms for balance as you're going to strike that ball. Very importantly, again, make sure that you get that leg pretty far back and then land on that kicking foot.